Okay, let's unpack this. Picture this. It is 2:15 a.m. in Indianapolis.
Late.
Right, super late.
Yeah.
A massive low-pressure system has moved in,
Yeah.
and heavy rain is just absolutely hammering the pavement.
Just a total downpour.
Exactly. And through the window of a 24-hour diner, bathed in this flickering amber of a neon sign, sit two people.
Okay.
They have a worn city map spread out between a salt shaker and a napkin holder, and they are sharing a single mug of black coffee.
Hmm.
The vibe is tense, methodical, and just, very quiet.
Yeah. And welcome to the deep dive, by the way. On the surface, the source material we are looking at today, those excerpts from the narrative, the blueprint on Pendleton Pike, it really reads exactly like a classic crime thriller.
Oh, absolutely.
You have the getaway car idling, the specialized gear, the looming bank vault. But looking past the surface level plot, you realize this isn't just a story about a bank heist.
No, not at all.
It's actually a masterclass in extreme risk management. It's a study in human psychology, the sheer danger of assumptions, and what flawless execution actually looks like when there is literally zero margin for error.
Because every successful operation, right, whether you're trying to breach a fortified bank vault or, launching a complicated tech startup, it all starts by mapping out the board long before you ever make a move.
Right, the preparation phase.
Exactly. So let's look at who is sitting in that diner booth, turning a sprawling, unpredictable city into this perfectly controllable chessboard.
Yeah, let's do it.
On one side, we have Amanda. She is cool, calculating, and almost entirely unbothered by the stakes.
Totally ice cold.
Right. And across from her is Blacker. He's gruff, methodical, kind of the mechanic of the group. And right away, the text establishes this stark contrast in how these two view the world.
They really do. They fundamentally separate their operation into two distinct columns, right? You have your rigid certainties and your fluid variables.
Well, it's variables versus the certainties.
Exactly. So Blacker is entirely focused on the rigid systems. For example, he brings up the bank's security grid.
The digital stuff.
Yeah. He knows that the localized server purges its daily cache and syncs with the off-site mainframe at exactly 2:15 a.m.
Down to the minute.
Down to the minute. And during that sync, the system experiences a fractional power dip, which triggers a backup generator.
Okay.
That sequence gives them precisely a 3-minute window before the secondary system turns the facility into basically a steel tomb.
Wow. 3 minutes.
Right. To Blacker, that timing is a certainty. It is hard-coded into the building's digital architecture.
Which, 3 minutes sounds terrifying to most people,
Yeah.
but Amanda just completely dismisses it as a lifetime.
She doesn't even blink.
No, because she's not worried about the hard-coded digital DNA of the building. Her focus is entirely on the weather.
The variables.
The fluid, unpredictable variables, yeah. A massive storm is moving in fast from the west, and she knows that if the streets flood near the main interstate ramp, their primary exit strategy is completely ruined.
It's gone.
It really reminds me of, trying to bake an incredibly delicate souffle in the middle of a severe thunderstorm.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Right. Because Blacker has the recipe. He has the exact timings, the chemical reactions of the ingredients, the precise oven temperature.
With hard data.
Right. But Amanda knows that if you don't account for the sudden drop in atmospheric pressure and, the extreme humidity caused by the storm outside, the whole thing is going to collapse the second you open the oven door.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is that Amanda doesn't deal in assumptions. You can't just
Yeah.
hope the weather cooperates with your recipe.
Right.
They completely refuse to deal in hope. Instead of just assuming the interstate ramp won't flood, they actively pivot their entire escape route to the narrow alleys behind an abandoned industrial park.
They don't just do that blindly either.
No, not at all. They chose those alleys because Amanda studied the city's civil engineering records.
She looked at the plumbing of the city?
Exactly. She knows the industrial park has superior underground drainage, it has deeper shadows, and it entirely avoids the city's centralized traffic light grid. They are literally engineering the environment to work for them.
Which is brilliant. But then you throw in the human element, which is arguably the most unpredictable variable of all.
Oh, humans ruin everything.
Always. The bank threw a massive wrench in the works by adding a graveyard shift security rover just the day before.
Right, a walking, talking variable.
Exactly. A human guard walking the perimeter introduces pure chaos. A person might, stop to tie their shoe, look at their phone, investigate a stray cat.
Anything could happen.
Right. Most crews would panic or just call off the operation entirely. But Blacker, he just tracks the guard's nicotine habit.
That detail is so wild.
It really is. He noticed this specific guard takes a smoke break by the loading dock at exactly 2:05 a.m. every single night, and it takes him exactly 8 minutes to walk the perimeter beforehand.
Unbelievable.
They're timing a multi-million-dollar physical breach around the burning rate of a cigarette.
It illustrates a really profound level of verification. They don't guess, right? They observe and confirm, and this carries right over into their equipment.
Oh, the gear. Let's talk about the gear.
Yeah, before they leave the diner, Blacker slides the keys across the table for the gear. We are talking high-tensile thermal lances, industrial-grade frequency scramblers, modified key cards.
Let's actually decode that gear for a second because the underlying mechanics show just how insanely prepared they are.
Let's do it.
A high-tensile thermal lance isn't just like a fancy blowtorch.
Right.
It is essentially a long steel tube packed with iron and magnesium rods. When you pump pressurized oxygen through it and ignite it, it burns at over 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
7,000. That is insane.
It doesn't just cut through reinforced vault steel, it literally turns the steel into liquid slag.
Wow.
And the frequency scrambler, it's not magic. It's basically a localized radio jammer.
Huh.
It floods a very specific frequency with so much white noise that the security system's receiver goes completely deaf to its own internal alarm triggers.
Right. So they are bringing overwhelming physical and digital force, but it's applied with surgical precision.
Very surgical.
Because once they cross the threshold of that bank, the theoretical planning of the diner is officially over.
Right, so they leave a few crumpled bills on the table and step out into the freezing rain. All that theoretical planning is about to slam into physical reality.
The rubber meets the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the second they pull their dark sedan into the alley and up to the bank's maintenance port, the building's digital firewalls are already waiting for them.
Yeah, this sequence really highlights the intense synchronization between Amanda's digital infiltration and Blacker's physical movements.
Like a dance.
A very dangerous dance, yeah. They are parked in the torrential rain. Amanda connects her frequency scrambler to the side door's maintenance port to initiate what she calls a handshake sequence with the building's server.
Right, and in networking terms, a handshake is literal. Two computers are meeting. The client says, I want to connect. And the server says, okay, here are my rules. Who are you? And the client has to respond with the exact right credentials to establish trust before any data can flow at all.
Which is not easy.
No, Amanda has to negotiate this trust through 3 distinct layers of encryption. If this bypass fails on the 3rd layer, the system doesn't just lock her out.
It gets much worse.
Way worse. It sends a silent alarm straight to the local police precinct before the heavy physical door even unlatches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they would be standing in the rain, completely unaware they had failed until the cruisers boxed them into the alley.
The tension there is immense, just waiting for the green light. But the moment it flashes and they slip inside the maintenance corridor, the clock just immediately accelerates.
The countdown begins.
Right. The building is dark, lit only by these emergency exit signs, and they have to execute a perfectly timed lobby sprint.
A sprint inside a bank.
Yeah, they have exactly 60 seconds during a localized power cycle to navigate a labyrinth of marble corridors and reach the primary security console.
Let's talk about that power cycle for a second. When a massive facility switches from grid power to backup generators, there is a momentary lapse in the tertiary systems.
Okay.
Specifically, the floor pressure plates. These are usually piezoelectric sensors hidden under the marble tiles.
So what?
Piezoelectric. They generate an electric charge in response to applied mechanical stress like a human footstep.
Ah, got it.
But during the 60-second window, the sensors are effectively blind. If Amanda and Blacker miss that window by even 1 second, the grid drops back in, the sensors activate, and simply walking down the hallway becomes an unavoidable trap.
Which is terrifying. But they make it to the security office in pitch black silence, right as the backup generators roar to life.
Just in time.
Exactly. Blacker shines his tactical light on the massive primary vault doors at the end of the hall, and you can hear the heavy metallic clanking of automated deadbolts sliding into place inside the walls.
The whole system is locking down.
The system is locking down, and this is where Amanda performs a brilliant piece of digital sleight of hand. The system is initiating a perimeter integrity check. And Amanda knows she can't just forcefully stop the lockdown sequence.
Right, because if you kill a security program mid-sequence, it triggers a failsafe, a total hard lock.
Exactly. So she lets the machine finish its cycle. She just waits. And then she spoofs the authorization code during a tiny 2-second delay between the system check and the final lock engagement.
Just 2 seconds.
Just 2 seconds. Spoofing, in this context, means her device is impersonating a trusted internal terminal. She is basically feeding the server a forged confirmation ticket.
Here's where it gets really interesting. But wait, I have to push back on the source material here for a second.
Okay, go for it.
Why would a state-of-the-art, high-end security system have a built-in 2-second delay between recognizing a potential issue and locking the door?
It does seem weird, right?
It feels like a glaring design flaw written in just to give the characters a chance. I mean, if a system handling millions of dollars detects an anomaly, shouldn't it just drop the hammer immediately?
I get that it sounds like a massive flaw. But if we connect this to the bigger picture and look at it through the lens of systems engineering, it is actually a deliberate necessity.
Really? How so?
Well, automated systems managing massive physical infrastructure like a 10-ton vault door, they prioritize internal sequence checks over blind hard locks. You have to consider the machine's programming logic.
Okay, I'm tracking.
If a sensor glitches because of a minor power surge from the storm outside, you don't want a massive vault door permanently sealing itself. That could trap employees inside during the day or cost the bank tens of thousands of dollars to manually drill and reset the locks.
Okay, I understand not wanting false alarms, but a 2-second window where the door is essentially just waiting, that still seems incredibly long for a computer.
Well, for a computer processor, yeah, 2 seconds is an eternity. But it's not just processing data. It is waiting for physical mechanical relays to report back.
For the hardware?
Exactly. The system is asking, I detect a power anomaly. Sector 4, report your status. Sector 5, report your status. It takes actual physical time for those localized hubs to verify their perimeters and send the signal back to the main brain.
So it's a buffer.
Right. It's a safety buffer to prevent irreversible actions based on incomplete data. Amanda isn't breaking the machine. She is exploiting the predictable nature of its own logic.
That's wild.
She waits for the system to ask, is everything secure? And in that 2-second physical relay window, her spoofed terminal feeds it the exact digital response it wants to hear. Yes, we are secure. Abort lockdown.
Wow, so she literally uses the machine's own safety protocols against it.
Exactly.
So she hits the enter key, the monitor flashes white, the warning lights go dark, and that massive circular vault door just sighs open an inch. Its vacuum seal is broken.
They did it.
They did. They've completely outsmarted the digital brain of the building. But as Blacker throws his weight against the heavy steel to physically push the door open, they transition from a digital vulnerability to a purely psychological one.
Which is arguably the hardest part. Stepping inside that vault, the environment changes entirely. It is freezing cold to preserve the paper currency.
Right.
Blacker immediately gets to work with a high-speed pneumatic cutter. Now, they aren't trying to cut the main vault walls. They are targeting the interior currency cages.
The smaller cages inside.
Yeah. And he's using a pneumatic tool, which is driven by compressed air rather than electricity. It doesn't throw sparks, and it generates massive torque instantly. He specifically targets the hinges of the cages, which are made of softer steel, rather than trying to cut through the hardened lock cores. It takes him less than 10 seconds to shear a door off.
And when he pulls that cage door open, they're hit with a massive, completely unexpected windfall.
The variable strikes again.
Right. A regional treasury shipment had landed a day early. So instead of the standard reserve cash, there are rows and rows of pristine high-denomination bills.
Millions.
Way more money than they mapped out in the diner. And this is usually the point in the story where discipline completely collapses.
Oh, people lose their minds.
They do. The characters start frantically stuffing their pockets, losing their minds over the jackpot. But Amanda, she operates like a machine. She immediately lays down strict rules, target only the center stacks, ignore the lower shelf boxes completely.
And her reasoning there is vital to their survival. She refers to those lower shelf boxes as tracker traps.
Tracker traps.
Yeah, they are bait money. They are deliberately placed at waist level, easily accessible, designed specifically to prey on the adrenaline and greed of thieves in a hurry. They are laced with RFID tags and die packs.
Which would ruin the whole run.
Exactly. But her discipline goes even further. She mandates that they stop packing at exactly 40 pounds per bag. Blacker argues. He notes they could easily carry more, doubling their take.
Of course he does.
But Amanda shuts him down instantly. She tells him, weight slows us down, and speed is our only true protection tonight.
I cannot emphasize enough how brilliant the concept of a tracker trap is, especially when you apply it outside of a bank vault.
Right, in everyday life.
Think about scope creep in our own professional lives, you know.
Oh, yes.
You're working on a major project, And suddenly you see an opportunity to grab just a little bit more. You add one more feature to the software, you take on one more peripheral client, you agree to sit on one more committee because it looks like an easy win.
It looks so tempting.
It's the greedy temptation of an unexpected windfall.
But taking on that extra weight fundamentally changes your maneuverability.
Exactly. If you grab the bait, you weigh yourself down, you lose your agility, your focus fragments, and ultimately, that extra weight jeopardizes the core project.
Yeah.
Amanda knows exactly what 40 pounds feels like. She knows 40 pounds is the absolute maximum physical limit Blacker can carry while maintaining a full sprint through a flooded alleyway. Anything more, and they miss their exit window.
Her psychological resilience in that freezing vault is truly extraordinary. Millions of dollars are sitting right in front of her, and she refuses to let it alter the blueprint they established back in the diner.
Iron will.
They load the bags right as the amber warning lights start pulsing above them. The bank's auxiliary systems are finally coming back online. As they exit, they pull the heavy vault door shut, and Amanda jams a manual lever deep into the locking mechanism from the outside.
Wait, why jam it if they are already leaving?
It's a delay tactic. It won't stop the police from eventually investigating, but it forces the responding officers and bank management to spend 20 agonizing minutes physically drilling the door open just to verify what was taken.
Oh, wow.
It creates a fog of confusion, buying Amanda and Blacker a critical distance.
So they retrace their steps through the dark marble corridors carrying these heavy 40-pound bags.
Yeah.
They reach the side exit. Amanda puts her hand against the cold metal door, looks through the reinforced glass, and stops dead.
Heart-dropping moment.
Truly. Because cutting through the torrential rain at the far end of their dark alleyway is a pair of headlights, and a high-intensity searchlight is sweeping across the brick walls.
Blacker immediately prepares for a physical confrontation. He assumes it's the security rover returning early from the smoke break, and his hand drops to his utility tool.
He's ready to fight.
He is. But Amanda's profound situational awareness neutralizes the panic. She studies the beam of light and correctly identifies that the bank's security team doesn't carry spotlights with that specific lumen output or sweep pattern.
Oh, wow, she notices the lumens.
Right. It is a city police cruiser. And they aren't running their sirens or responding to an alarm. They are just doing a slow, routine sweep, looking for an overhang to shelter from the massive storm.
But the cruiser is right there. If it turns down their alley, the headlights will light up their getaway sedan. Blacker is tensed, ready to fight his way out, but Amanda just stands there, totally serene.
Calm as can be.
She tells Blacker to stand down. She says the cop won't turn into the alley. Why? Because the drainage ditch at the corner is severely overflowing. She says, if that cruiser attempts the turn, they'll bottom out their axle in 6 inches of standing water.
The physics of a modern police cruiser navigating a flooded, poorly maintained industrial road dictate that the driver would absolutely risk hydroplaning or getting stuck.
And Amanda trusts that the local cop driving that car knows the physical limits of those streets just as well as she does.
This raises an important question, right? This is the ultimate demonstration of mastery. Mastery isn't just knowing your own system, it's knowing the environment so intimately that you can accurately predict the behavior of your adversaries based on localized weather conditions.
It's incredible.
Her calm demeanor isn't arrogance. It is the direct result of obsessive preparation. She understands the physics of a 6-inch puddle better than the police do. And sure enough, the cruiser pauses at the edge of the alley, flashes its brake lights, and turns away down the main avenue.
The tension release in that moment is just palpable. They burst out the door into the freezing rain, throw the heavy bags in the trunk, and Amanda slides into the driver's seat. She pulls out without even turning on the headlights, navigating those twisting, flooded service roads entirely by memory.
Just ghosts in the rain.
Within minutes, they blend seamlessly into the late-night traffic on a secondary artery road. Just 2 anonymous night shift workers heading home in the storm.
As the adrenaline finally starts to fade, Blacker laughs. He calls it the cleanest run he has ever seen in his life. No physical trace left behind, no alarms triggered.
Perfect execution.
And Amanda responds with a statement that really serves as the thesis for this entire deep dive. She says, when you don't take shortcuts, the story always ends exactly the way it's supposed to.
When you don't take shortcuts, the story always ends exactly the way it's supposed to. Ultimately, the source material wasn't really about a frequency scrambler or a high-speed pneumatic cutter.
No, not at all.
It was about the synergy of meticulous planning, environmental awareness, and just an unbreakable psychological discipline that refuses to give in to greed or panic.
It comes down to knowing your own tracker traps and having the strength to leave them on the shelf. It's understanding that a tight 3-minute window is actually a lifetime if you are perfectly synchronized with your environment and your tools.
Which brings us to the application for you. So what does this all mean for you? Whether you are prepping for a high-stakes corporate negotiation, launching a complex new product, or just trying to navigate a chaotic week, the lessons from Amanda and Blacker are incredibly clear.
Very clear.
You have to eliminate assumptions from your planning, stop guessing, and start verifying your variables. You need to actively account for the weather in your own life, those fluid, unpredictable elements that can flood your best-laid plans.
And ignore the bait.
And above all, yeah, you cannot let yourself get weighed down by the tracker traps of scope creep. Define your 40-pound limit, get what you came for, and get out before the grid resets.
The discipline to stick to the blueprint, even when the environment throws unexpected windfalls or terrifying obstacles at you, is what separates a chaotic failure from a clean break.
Exactly. I want to leave you with one final lingering question to ponder on your own today. Think about the rover's smoke break in your own industry or in your own personal challenges.
Oh, it's a great question.
Right. What is the seemingly insignificant, highly predictable human habit of your competitors, or even the overlooked quirks in your own daily systems that you could leverage to bypass a massive obstacle? Just like that dark, rainy morning in Indianapolis over a map and a mug of black coffee, the blueprint to your next success is probably already sitting on the table. You just have to be willing to look past the variables and find your certainties.